scared for myself and for the people around me. I think that's a big sort of motivation for me to continue to work hard. Get out, that's the main thing, is to get out.
The first African woman to land a pro contract outside of the Springbok Women's Sevens team is Babalwa Latsha, a girl who grew up in the township outside Cape Town, who's earned a law degree, who plays international rugby and gives back in her community. The first time we tried to tell you her story, we went to her family home in Khayelitsha and got caught up in exactly the kind of danger she faces every day when we were all victims to an armed robbery on set. Luckily, save for the trauma, she's unharmed. In fact, everyone else was unharmed as well, and she's agreed to speak to us again. This time, we're at the Western Province Training Facility in Bellville, north of Cape Town. Babalwa, thank you so much for joining us, particularly considering the last time we tried to have a conversation with you, it didn't go that well. How are you doing now?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I'm quite well, thank you, and it's great to be chatting to you again.
We had come to your house to showcase people, you know, what you are fighting your way out of, and then something like that happens, and it just feels like it's the irony is just so tragic.
Yeah, there was a lot going through my mind. I was scared for myself and for the people around me. I was quite anxious as well. So it was just a lot of emotions going through my head all at once. And at that moment I realized, like, this is exactly what I've been fighting my way out of. You know, using all of the opportunities that come my way, using rugby to sort of try to create some kind of an escape for myself and for my family. And then, you know, something like that, you know, pulls me right back again. But yeah, more than anything, I think that's a big sort of motivation for me to continue to work hard and, you know, get out. That's the main thing, is to get out.
Let's start with your relationship with rugby.
Well, I laugh at myself now because I was so ignorant at the time. I honestly never knew that girls actually played rugby and there was an actual team for them. I had only seen the men play rugby. And then when I got to university, I saw these girls playing and I was fascinated.
What was the way in? How did you have that first encounter?
It was quite random. I was just going about my business on campus. I remember it was two girls that said, "Jeepers, you look like a rugby player. We have a squad that we're trying to put together. Come to training on a Thursday." So I went to the training and that's when it began. I saw these phenomenal girls who were so fit, and for a second I was doubting myself, but when I got in, it was almost natural. It was almost natural, really. I actually got two different responses from my parents. My mom was like, "Oh no, my little girl, my poor baby, what are you doing? You're gonna get hurt." And my dad was like, "Yes, go for it. This is the sport for you. You're not a softie, so I know for sure you fit in with rugby." But generally, both of them were very supportive because they understand what sport can do to a young person. They were very, very supportive of me.
How do we change the fact that South Africa just outwardly doesn't seem to be interested at all aware of women's rugby?
Well, I think the main thing is that we make women's rugby visible. We make it accessible, even if it means that we put up programs in the townships, you know, coaching clinics and what have you, those types of things. The main thing is about making it accessible. That's why I try by all means to also make myself visible, because I represent something greater than me, which is women's rugby. So every time there's an opportunity to talk about it, you know, whether it be tweeting about it on social media, we just put it out there as much as possible.
The business of being a rugby player, a pro rugby player, is really only a kind of a part of what you do. Similarly to how when you were a student, you were playing and studying. Now you're playing and?
Now I'm playing and a director of the Menstruation Foundation, which is a foundation founded in 2019, which The purpose of it is really in its name. So the key thing is to provide sanitary products, not just towels, but products, and also just breaking down the taboos and the stereotypes around reproductive health and menstruation as a whole, really.
Just being a woman.
Just being a woman in particular, yeah. Sometimes we've also found that, these young girls use different things, such as rags, toilet paper, whatever they can lay their hands on to actually use as pads. The main reason why girls are without pads in the first place is that they can't afford them. So the key thing is that we make it accessible, we make it free and there for them whenever they need it.
And the fact that you have a law degree and could go sit in a cushy office somewhere and earn very good money, you don't have to be putting your body on the line to move women's rugby forward. You really don't need to be working to get girls access to sanitary products the way you are. You don't have to make any of these sacrifices. There is this other path that almost lies in wait for you.
I think every time I sort of, feel tired and feel almost hard done, I just go back to that again, I don't need to do any of this, but I want to. It's in my heart to do it. But to be honest with you, there are times where I sit and wonder, am I even doing the right thing? Is it worth it? I really could be on a completely different path. But then again, I sit and it brings me back to the same thing again. Why am I doing it? Because I really have a deep passion for the game, for empowering young girls in particular. Everything that I do really has got nothing to do with me. It's got to do with the next generation of young female players or female rugby players who aspire to follow in my or our footsteps. So it's important what I do now, that it benefits the next generation of young female rugby players. So I've given myself to that. In my heart is just making sure that I leave women's rugby in a better state than which I found it. So that was the best advice that I've ever gotten, is just to do away with myself, because ultimately it's not even about me.
Does it sometimes feel like a lot?
Honestly, no. No, it doesn't feel like a lot at all, because it's almost natural to me. It's something that I'm really passionate about. I've always been passionate about young people. So whenever the need arises, I will go out of my way if needs be. Happy Women's Day!
Happy Women's Day!
And 10 years from now, where do you want to be?
Oh gosh, 10 years from now, I would like to start my own foundation. At some point, I would love to serve on the board of World Rugby. I would love to contribute to the creation of policy around women's sport globally, where we can sort of equalize the playing fields for boys and girls. As you know, a rugby career is relatively short, and there is so much that you can do on the pitch. But now, looking at the greater scheme of things, it's important that I find a niche where I can be able to then contribute or give back to the sport that has changed my life for the better.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was quite difficult to get through that and to get that confidence back again. I think if it wasn't lockdown, I would have missed a lot of rugby and people would have forgot about me. Yeah, I never thought, probably would have never played the game again after everything I went through.